Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Trails Radio Show. Thank you for joining us today. Today, my special guest is actor Mr. Conrad Bachmann. Thank you, and join us in a minute. Okay, my first question to you is, how did your career begin? How did you get started becoming an actor?
Well, that really does go back a long, long way. It's a long, long story. But to be brief about it, well, first of all, I want to ask you a question about your radio audience and where you play this, and how big is your audience, and what happens with this interview? Where does it go?
Oh, okay. Well, my radio show streams, so it's on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora Radio. So it streams all over, wherever you can find podcasts and radio shows and stuff.
Oh, so it's very public then.
Yeah, and I can send you a link once we finish talking and I upload and edit everything. I can send you a link so you can listen to the interview.
That'd be great.
Okay.
All right, I appreciate that. How did it start? Well, years ago, my mother was a singer, and my father had a band, and my mother loved musicals, and so she was always going to musicals. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, mm-hmm. and she was always going to movies with musicals and taking me with her as a kid. And I loved the musicals myself, and I loved the dancing in it. And so I used to come home, and I would go out in the garage, and I would just tap around, just kind of play like I was tap dancing. Mm-hmm. And then my father got me a big sheet of plywood. My mom got me some tap shoes, and I'd go out in the garage and put on some music, and I would just tap. It was just a natural thing that came to me, and then when I was in high school, my freshman year in high school, we went to a movie called Good News, mm-hmm. which was starring Peter Lawford and June Allison. These are names that probably no one of your age or anybody will remember. But anyway, I was so impressed by it that we came out of that film, and I told my mother, I said, I know exactly what I want to do. And she said, what? I said, I want to be a dancer. And without hesitation, she went straight to a phone booth, looked up a dance school called Irma Flaherty School of Dance, and it was on the second floor of the National Theater Building in Louisville, Kentucky, and I started studying tap. And I became a tap dancer, and I became a song and dance man. And started doing shows around Louisville, started doing summer stock, started working out at the Iroquois Amphitheater, doing musicals, and then went into the service and ended up in special services, which was the entertainment branch of the Air Force. And every year they would have a talent contest, and I would win my category, and then they took the top winners and put them together at a show called Tops in Blue, and we traveled all over the world doing shows. And then I was stationed over, they took a group of us, split us up, and they sent one half of us to Okinawa and the other half to Europe. And I went to Okinawa, and we did another show there, a private show called Sky High was the name of our touring group. Mm-hmm. And we toured all over the Far East doing shows for entertainment for the troops, hospital shows, NCO shows, airman shows, that sort of thing, boosting morale for the troops. That was during the Korean War.
Wow.
I came out of the service and had an opportunity, went back to school. I was going to University of Kentucky, and someone who had seen me called me and brought me out to California, brought me out under contract to a studio. And one thing led to the next, and I ended up not dancing anymore because musicals were dying, and I became an actor. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, it was just one show after another. I've had 4 series. I've had one was West Wing. I was the secretary treasurer on West Wing. Mm-hmm. I was the the captain on, God, what was it? My mind is, I can't remember now. Not Pirates. Anyway, it'll pop in my head. And then the other one was with Fred Dreyer on Hunter. I was Commander Stone on Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I've made, I don't know how many series and how many television shows, and probably around 25 films, all the way back to early films, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. all the way up to Rules of Engagement, and the one that everybody knows me mostly for, and that I get trapped for, is Tremors, where I'm Dr. Jem, and I'm the guy that gets eaten by the giant worm and stuck underground.
So you've been all over. You've done
Yeah. Yeah. I've done, I don't know how many, probably at least a couple of hundred commercials. So, I mean, I've been very fortunate. I've made a living in the business since I came out here in 57, and I'm still working. I just finished 2 films, and I have another one coming up that I'm getting ready to do. So now, though, I just kind of pick and choose. But it's been fun. It's been great. I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, I've been very fortunate, and I think God has just reached down and tapped me on the shoulder and said, I'm going to make sure that you can pay your rent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this business, this industry is great to be in as long as you enjoy it and are happy doing what you love to do, performance, etc.
I do. I love it. I've always enjoyed it. It's given me plenty of free time with my kids. I have 3 boys and a girl, and we've been able to do a lot of things together, play together, and do a lot of running around at museums and vacations and being able to spend time with my kids, as opposed to, working 8 to 5 and just having 2 weeks a year to vacation to go someplace. So I've been really blessed. I've been very fortunate. I'm not a well-known actor. I'm not somebody that everybody screams and hollers and says, I need your autograph, but I never wanted that. I just wanted to be a working actor, and that's what I've done.
Absolutely.
But I started out as a song and dance man.
Absolutely. Well, it all starts somewhere, and it leads to other great things.
Yeah. I mean, I even did 2 minstrel shows before they shut those down. I don't talk about those a whole lot, but I did those with a guy named Rex Van and the 2 Black Crows.
Mm-hmm.
The first line I had going across stage was I went across stage with the ladder in my hand. He says, "Where are you going with that ladder?" And I said, "I'm taking my case to a higher court." That was my first line. That was it. Anyway, they shut those down years ago.
Oh, wow. My next question is, what do you find is the most challenging part or the most difficult part for you being in the industry?
I guess the anticipation of getting the job. I mean, you go on these interviews, and especially in the commercial area where you go in there and I live in about 45 minutes away from any interview, and you drive there in heavy traffic that's here in Los Angeles, and you're in there for about 30 seconds to a minute to audition, and you don't know if you got it or not, and then you sit in that traffic coming back home again, and you just hope that you got it. The other thing is it's changed so much now from what it used to be like. I mean, my agent that I had years ago, who's now passed away, God bless him, Herman Zimmerman, he was awesome. Mm-hmm. He always came to the set, always visited me, always wanted to know if there was anything he could do. Was I okay? You don't have that kind of personalization anymore unless you're a big star. But it's the audition process. I mean, you're either right or you're not right. You never know if you're going to get the job. I mean, I can remember reading for a job and then walking out going, well, I blew that one. And when I got home, my wife said, congratulations, they called you, you got hired. So you never know how it's going to go. I mean, you do your best, you plant your feet. Like Jimmy Cagney said, just plant your feet, look the guy in the eye, and tell the truth.
Absolutely. Yeah, and when you go in for audition, if you don't get it, don't take rejection personally. And I think a lot
Oh,
of
no.
actors...
No. You can never, and I tell young actors today, never, ever take it personally, because it's not personal. It's not you that's being rejected. It's the character that's being rejected, because they just don't see the character in you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who's being rejected, not you. And also, this business is hill and dale. You know, that when you're in the valley, there's always a hill ahead. And when you're on top of the hill, you just hope that it's a longer plateau.
Absolutely. Yeah, casting directors already know what they want for a character as soon as that actor walks in to the building.
Absolutely. They have that person in mind, and when you walk in, if you're close and you can read well, you've got it. If you're not close at all, even if you read well, you're not going to get it.
Absolutely.
You know, and you just, it's a roll of the dice business. It's a tough business. I feel sorry for these kids today, because it's changed so much today. Today, you know, when I would go to auditions at the studios, you would meet the casting directors and you'd read for them, and then they got to know you, and many times they would just call you up and hire you. I mean, I used to just get calls and say, you know, you're working on such and such on next week, and, you know, my agent would call me, and I didn't even have to read, because the casting directors already knew my work, and I would just get hired. But today, these kids today have to do their own videography. They have to take a film of themselves and then submit it somewhere on some kind of an electronic, whatever you call those things, and hope that somebody's going to look at it and like it. There's no guidance on the audition. I mean, in the old days, when you'd go in and audition, they would have you do it maybe 2 or 3 different ways and try it, you know, a couple of times. Well, today, the way you do it, you do a video and you send it in. I mean, that's it. No changing. That's tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the industry process has changed these days, especially with the internet now, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I've been blessed to be in this industry for 6 years. I started when I was 13. I'm 19 now. I've done theater, voiceover work, and I do the radio show. And I enjoy it very much. It's been fun for me.
Mm-hmm. And where do you live?
I live in Mississippi.
Mississippi.
I'm a Southerner.
Yeah. Well, I'm close to that, being a Kentuckian.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who I was in the service with that was from Mississippi. Biloxi, is there a place called Under the River or Below the River or something?
Yeah, there's Biloxi.
Natchez. Is that Mississippi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Natchez Under the Hill. Is that it? Mm-hmm. I had a buddy in the service who was from Natchez, and he lived in Natchez Under the Hill or Below the Hill. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I'm originally from Louisiana, but I've lived in Mississippi for 3 years now. But
oh, I see. Okay, all right. Well, I had another buddy that was from St. Joseph, Louisiana, and another buddy who was from Baton Rouge.
Oh yeah.
We were in service together. He was a photographer. Jimmy Frisbee, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, so I'm familiar with all those areas. Matter of fact, he dated a girl that was working at Bourbon Street. The first time I went to Bourbon Street, he took me up there. That was quite an experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the southern states are quite a different change of pace from the northern states.
Yeah, I like it down there, you know. We're planning on going back to Kentucky, so it's just so different out here in California now. It's just so rough, and it's just so expensive and crowded. You can't go anywhere without sitting in traffic for 45 minutes to an hour, so we're just going to get the hell out of here and go home.
Absolutely. Home is where the heart is.
Yes, exactly. I think it was, what's his name that wrote all those books? Why can't I remember his name? He wrote Tom Sawyer.
Mark Twain?
Mark Twain, yeah. He said, I've never met a Kentuckian yet that wasn't on his way home.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so what else do you have in mind there, Trey? I mean, what else can I tell you?
Well, my last question is, and I know we just talked a little bit about it, but do you have any other pieces of advice for people who want to be an actor or who want to get in the industry?
Yes, run away.